What's your best shotgun shooting tip for hunting or for hitting a moving target?
Well, Eric, I like to, keep your eye on the target. Make sure you got both eyes open when you're shooting a shotgun. You don't shoot a shotgun like a rifle. Keep both eyes open. You follow the bird, you get in front of the bird, and you pull the trigger.
All right, fair enough. And we get a lot of guys too that, they ask, modified, super modified, full choke. What type of choke tube do you use and why?
Man, I use a Pattern Master decoy most of the time, and it really patterns like an improved cylinder. I just like a wider pattern, I shoot pretty decent, but I still like to have a little play, But when ducks are within 30 yards, I'm going to shoot that decoy. But then if they're a little bit out there, or maybe I'm shooting some bigger geese, I might go to, a Pattern Master mid-range or even a Pattern Master long range if I have to, It just depends on the weather, depends on what the birds are doing, because if it's kind of windy, I'm going to want to shoot a tighter choke.
Mm-hmm. Sure. Makes sense. Greetings, duck hunting fanatics. Eric Wilkes here, and I have on the line with me Roland Cortez out of Arkansas, and he works with Arkansas County Guide Service. So thanks again for joining us, Roland. We appreciate you being here.
Hey, thank you, man. I'd like to wish you a Merry Christmas, too.
Yeah, well, thank you very much. I know you get a little bit of time away from guiding the next few days, but, you don't get a lot of time away from hunting, and that's a good thing. So you get to take a little bit of time for yourself and hunt yourself. So, Merry Christmas to you and to your family. We certainly do appreciate it. And, tell us, just recap for us, what did you see over the last couple of weeks as you're out in the field?
Well, Eric, our second split started on the 11th. And when it started with a bang, I had 4 days of exceptional, duck and goose hunting. I mean, I had some of my friends from Kentucky that usually book that second weekend because it's always been that good, and it was nothing but extraordinary. We limited out on ducks and specks for 4 days straight. We shot 7-man limited ducks, 7-man limited specks their whole 4 days. So that was from Wednesday through about the Sunday, and we had this front come in kind of right about on Monday and Tuesday, which hunting was all right on that Sunday, but come Monday and Tuesday, I really do believe that we lost a few ducks, with this passing cold front, and we kind of really didn't have any to replace them, but the hunting was still fair.
Sure. Anytime you can limit out, it's awesome. But to do it, with consecutive days in a row like that, that's still pretty cool. And I know you've sent me a bunch of pictures, and I'm going to share that with this podcast here that we're going to be putting out and just showing people some of the ducks that you've smashed. So, keep those pics coming. I definitely love getting them, and it's awesome to see the successes that you guys have had up to this point. And I know we've talked a lot about, just briefly here, we talked a little bit about how to hit a moving target, which choke tubes you use. What about ammunition? What type of ammo do you shoot and why?
All right, a lot of, we have to shoot, some type of field dot or some type of non-toxic. But if I have to shoot steel shot, I prefer to shoot. It's kind of an off-brand, but it's called Filter. They're not really high price. I just like the way my Benelli patterns with it. And I usually prefer a 3-inch, number 2 or number 4, but a lot of times we're shooting geese, so I shoot more of a number 2. But these last couple of years, I've got into a lot of the non-toxic stuff. There's a shell out there called Boss. I don't know if you ever heard of it yet, but it's kind of a couple of years on the market, and it's more of a bismuth, non-toxic, stuff. And I've had the opportunity to shoot some of it, and I shoot mostly the 2 3/4 number 5 and the 2 3/4 number 4. And let me tell you, it crushes a speckle belly up to 50 yards, man. I'm so impressed with this Boss that I'm kind of going to start shooting it all the time.
Yeah, that's interesting. No, I have not heard of it. I'm going to definitely take some time and look it up for sure.
And Eric, I'm no way affiliated with Boss. It's just some animals that I came across of, and some guys are using it, and I'm really impressed with it. I wanted at least to try it back again, and if you ever get a chance, you need to try it.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to try it. I've always just been a fan of Federal for whatever reason, and the same thing. I'm in no way affiliated with them, but I killed my very first turkey with Federal, and I was shooting a 3-inch, and I
Hmm.
I dropped him at 75 yards. So I went, okay, this ammo
Wow.
is good enough for me. I'm like, this is awesome.
That's right.
Yeah, I mean, so
And
it's
you
exciting.
know, a lot of the ammo has to do with the way your gun patterns too. Because
Hmm.
once you figure out the range of your gun and what it patterns at, then you'd be mighty impressed at how far you can shoot something and actually kill it.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing, and that's actually a really good tip for anybody who's listening is, and I've done this a lot. I know I first did this with my Benelli when I got it. I went out and I shot 6 or 7 different types of ammo in it just to purely see how each one of them patterned, and took the extra time to switch out the cardboard and make sure that I'm shooting the same ammo at the same piece of cardboard, and really monitoring the patterns. And I think if you take the time to figure out, how your gun matches up with certain types or different types of ammo that's out there, yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head. You'd be real surprised at how far you can shoot. Now, all that said, don't do what I did. My first turkey, I did not intend to shoot 75 yards, but we couldn't get the bird to come any closer. So I was like, well, we either take the shot and see if we can smash him, or we let him go. And no
Yeah, I mean
practice, no practice at all at that range. I promise you. So don't. I would never recommend that. If you get the chance, go out and practice and just see how far you can shoot and how your gun patterns, and then from there, you'll surprise yourself for sure.
yeah, you're right there. And like I said, I tell it to everybody. You take a couple different shell manufacturers and you shoot your gun and try different choke tubes just to see what shell patterns best with your gun, and that's kind of what you go at to hunt.
Yeah, exactly. And I know you spend a lot of time in the field guiding, so I want to kind of shift gears a little bit and talk a little bit about, safety, because safety is important, and it's something I know as a guide you're very conscious of, because you're typically hunting with multiple guns in the blind or multiple guns in the field with multiple people. So when you're hunting from a blind in a party, and you're guiding, right? How do you set up to shoot safely?
Or try to make sure that all barrels are pointed up, and stuff like that. Safety is my utmost importance while hunting or guiding. And I try to make sure that I watch as much as I can on what everybody's doing, and that's typically why I don't really shoot when I'm guiding, because I have a lot in, and I'm trying to watch everybody. I'm trying to make sure that watching the dog and making sure all this stuff happens. But yeah, man, I mean, safety is utmost. Making sure guns are on safety, making sure your muzzles are pointed out of the in an upwards position, to where if it does accidentally go off, make sure your gun's in a spot to where it can't tip over and go off in the gun. Make sure the dog's not running over the guns. Just simple things like that. That I really stress on when hunting with a big group of people in a blind.
Yeah, well, and I'm sure over the years you've seen it all. You've been there, and I'm sure you've got some wild stories and some close calls. What's one that stands out in your mind that you can remember, and how did you
Well,
respond?
I will tell you this: last year there was an incident with another guy that worked for us, and there were probably 8 of them in a blind. And again, we have holes set. Shooting holes, we call it, in a blind, where each hunter can get in there and sit back and watch the birds work and get up to shoot. So bird came in. The guys were swinging on the bird, and one particular person happened to swing over another barrel. When he pulled the trigger, he blew the front half of the barrel off.
Goodness.
So it sent BBs and metal parts, scattering throughout the blind. Luckily, nobody was hurt. But, I mean, it's little things like that people have to, watch out for. A duck is not worth somebody's life, so, we have to be very careful where we swing it at, where we point the gun at, because once you pull the trigger, we can't take it back.
Yep. Nope. And that's
So
very, 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 very good point. And it's very, very relieved nobody was hurt, and it's just one of those things you just have to be conscious. And I'm glad to hear as a guide that you don't typically shoot or you don't typically carry a gun with you because, there really is, especially when you're hunting with multiple people, right, that, you got a lot of moving parts. You're calling, you're watching the dog, you're watching the ducks, you're watching the hunters, making sure everybody's safe and swinging their gun in the right direction. And there's just a lot of stuff to be aware of. And anybody who hunts in a party like that with more than one gun, you can't take it too seriously. And I can tell you a story, and I wasn't personally there, but one of my best friends was, and he was out in the field, and they were walking through a cornfield to set up, and an older gentleman that was with them actually caught his gun on a corn stalk, and as the gun twisted off of his shoulder, because was carrying it with a strap, it fell, hit the safety, and then the piece of the stalk caught the trigger just right, and he actually lost part of his leg on a corn stalk.
Wow.
Right? I mean, just a crazy story. He had his safety on, had his strap on, everything, doing everything right, just carrying his gun through the corn, and just happened to, everything just caught just right, and it literally, it hit him in the calf, blew off part of his calf all the way down through his foot, and they said, "Look, just for us to save this, we're gonna have to sever your leg at the knee," and lost part of his legs. Can't ever take it too serious.
We stress safety a lot. That's the first thing when we get in the blind before we get to shoot. I have a safety meeting every morning with every group of different people I take out. Safety is utmost priority. And another thing I want to talk about, is when you hunt with a dog, and then, my dog, I have a lot of money invested in it, but it's not just the money. This dog's part of my family. So, I treat it like a family member. And I well stress when the dog's out of the blind, nobody shoot cripples. My dog will pick up 400, 500, 600 yard birds, blinds, easy. So if the bird's crippled, just let it go and the dog will catch it. I lose very few cripples. And, like I said, I stress it a lot. And if you ever get a chance to hunt with me, you'll see. And I well tell them, the dog's out of the blind, nobody shoot. I had an incident last weekend of duck season. A guy shoots a bird, dog goes out of the blind, I hear a gunshot. The guy thought the dog was a bird, taking off. And at this point, it turned out to be a safety matter, and I almost called the hunt because, it was a real big safety issue.
Mm-hmm.
And I stress it a lot. When my dog or anybody or a customer dog is out the blind, nobody shoots the cripple unless I tell them to shoot the cripple. Now, there, I carry it with me. I choose not to shoot with my customers because I feel that I don't need to. I bring my gun if I have to chase a cripple or something like that, but I just choose not to shoot, because I have a lot going on and a lot to worry about, so that's just my discrepancy not to shoot.
Yeah, and that's smart. And yeah, and I tell, I guide a little bit too, and I do some upland guiding as well, and the same rules apply, right? Barrels are always up. If the dog's running after a bird, do not shoot. If the bird flies and you shoot, after the second shot, we're done. We're not taking a third because that dog is chasing that bird, whether it's dead or whether it's flying. So
that's right.
I totally understand, man. And they're part of the family, right? And so they're very close to us, and you have a relationship with them, and you have a lot of time, money, effort, energy, resources, everything tied up in that dog, and shooting countless birds during the season, and more importantly, right, the first 2 to 3 years typically of a dog's life, you're shooting birds over them in the off season as often as you can too, whether on a preserve or anywhere else. I mean, there's a lot that goes into that to make that dog to instill that drive in them, right? So,
my dog has gone to the trainer for the last 8 years. Every summer, duck season we in, she'll go to the trainer. We'll run HRC and AKC, dog trials and stuff like that to keep her in shape. So she's very much part of the family.
Mm-hmm.
She's another one of my duck hunting tools.
Yeah, exactly.
That dog, that's right. Without that dog, there'd be a lot of walking for me. And to be honest with you, she's kind of the star of the show, out of every hunt. And if you
For
You
sure.
know, if a lot of people follow me up on my Facebook page, you'll see all my customers talk really highly of my dog with some of the phenomenal retrieves that she makes, 400 or 500 yard blinds, and just some of the things she does, and my trainer has done a great job with her. I give him all the credit for training her, and I got to give some to the dog too.
Yeah, nope, it ain't. It's sometimes, it's not, you got to give the trainers a lot of credit, but, a lot of times, you can just tell certain breeds and certain dogs that have a good pedigree too, because a lot of times you can't instill a drive in a dog, right? The dog either has the drive and the passion or they don't.
That's
It's
right.
pretty black and white, pretty cut and dry. And I can rap with dogs with you all day because I just love it. And I don't know what I would do without a hunting dog. It really is. And you hit the nail on the head, right? They're the star of the show. I have just as much fun, and I have goosebumps just talking about it. Just going out and watching the dogs work is just an absolute blast. I could care less if I don't shoot any birds or ducks. I could care less. I know my dog had fun, and I had fun, and I had just as much fun watching the dog work. So it's one of those things that you just got to enjoy.
Most of the customers that we have seen my dog, come up over the years, because most of them have been hunting with me since I've had her. So they've seen her get better and better as the years pass by. But all of us, that guys for Arkansas County and guys for Chad, we all have dogs, and we all have very good dogs for our customers. But we are dog friendly, Eric. I mean, anybody has a dog and they want to bring them hunting. I mean, most of our blinds can hold more than one dog. So I mean, like I tell everybody, if you have one, you want to bring it hunt, feel free to bring it. I mean, and if your dog's not up to that caliber and it can only go so far, you send your dog out, I'll send mine to get the longer retrieve. I love seeing all dogs work.
Yeah, exactly. And that's awesome that you've had the opportunity for a lot of your clients to essentially grow up with your dog. I mean, that's really a cool experience. And I think anybody who's hunted over dogs, they realize the value of having that dog, and, they get a kick out of it too, and they enjoy it too. And so it makes the hunt all that much more interesting, in my opinion. And I think it makes it all that much more fun too.
That's right. I mean, it's just not hunting without a dog.
That's right. That's right. All right, my friends. Well, thanks so much for joining and tuning in and listening to us. I've got Roland Cortez of Arkansas County Guide Service. Roland, tell everybody how to get a hold of you and book a hunt with you real quick.
Guys, gals, y'all can look us up on Facebook at Arkansas County Duck Guide Service. Same thing on Instagram, or you can contact me at 985-414-4997. It's my cell phone. You can call me at any time if you're looking to book a duck hunt, spec hunt, or you need lodging around the Stuttgart area. And I'd like to wish everybody out there, and everybody at Arkansas County Duck Guide Service, Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Awesome. Thanks so much. Again, that's Roland Cortez with Arkansas County Guide Service. Make sure to mention Duck Hunting Fanatics. That way he knows the community is listening, and he knows that you're getting some value out of some of his tips and some of the things that he's willing to share. So, Roland, once again, we thank you for your time, my friend. You have a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and we'll look forward to reconnecting with you again next week.
Yes, sir. You take care, man.
All right. You too, brother.
Greetings, fellow duck hunting fanatics. Eric Wilkes here, co-founder, and I wanted to take a moment and personally thank you for checking out our YouTube channel. If you haven't already done so, make sure you click the link just below this video to go ahead and subscribe to our channel so you get all of our future updates and future videos that we release.